Hocam mikrofon aç.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we come to our eighth session of today, and who will be led by our Dr. Dirwish. So here, Dr. Dirwish, you are the leader of this. You are the chair of this speech.
Okay.
Session.
Thanks a lot. Also, I would like to thanks a lot for Professor Sema for organizing International Symposium on Economic Thought events. And today, session 8 is called, the title is called Current Debate in Emerging Economics 2. And our first presenter is Halit Waled and Faisal Mehmed Mirza. And the topic is examining fuel choice pattern through household energy transitions index, an alternative to traditional energy lender and stacking model. So, dear Halit, floor is yours. You can present your work. You have, let's say, 10 minutes. At the end, if there's any question, we'll take.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You can start.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. My name is Khalid Waleed. I am from Economics Department, University of Gujarat, Pakistan. I am here to present a paper titled as Examining the Fuel Choices, Fuel Choice Patterns through Household Energy Transition Index, and alternate to traditional energy ladder and stacking models. The energy transition towards cleaner and modern fuels is considered an essential component to achieve sustainable economic development. The transition not only fosters productive efficiency, but it can mitigate CO2 emissions as well. Therefore, the transition towards modern fuels at the micro as well as macro level is imperative for sustainable socio-economic prosperity. The policies around the globe not only focus on uninterrupted provision of energy, but also put a great emphasis on achieving energy transition. In this regard, the study of determinants of the household level energy transition is particularly important for the case of developing economies. However, the dilemma of developing economies is that in developing economies, households need uninterrupted fuel supply, but they only consider these four dimensions of fuels, which are ease of access, ease to collect, ease to use, and the economy dimension, but they totally ignore the dimensions of efficiency and environment. Therefore, this contradiction in the household level fuel choices and the policy goals often causes the ineffective implementation of energy transition policies. United Nations Sustainable Development Goals (SDG) calls for affordable and clean energy sources for households. There are 3 billion 3 billion people on this planet Earth. Those are still using primitive fuels. We can divide our household fuels into 3 main categories. These are primitive fuels, transition fuels, and modern fuels. Primitive fuels are such fuels which emit pollutants, and they are less efficient and inefficient. These fuels are firewood, animal wastages, and agriculture residuals. Transition fuels are kerosene, coal, and charcoal, whereas modern fuels include LPG, natural gas, and electricity. Energy transition at household level in traditional literature is analyzed by using energy ladder model and energy stacking model. Energy ladder model expresses the transition towards modern and cleaner fuel as a linear movement from primitive fuels, whereas on the other hand, the stacking model describes energy transition as a complex process in which households do not move linearly, towards cleaner fuels but stack different fuels together for carrying out their daily tasks. If we compare these two models, we can see this diagram. In energy ladder model, the household would just jump from primitive fuels to transition fuels and then transition fuels to advanced fuels as their socio-economic status go upward. Whereas on the other hand, in energy stacking model, a household can use primitive fuels such as firewood or a transition fuel such as kerosene charcoal at the same time for various sort of reasons. The debate about the explanatory part of these models to unearth the process of energy transition among researchers and academicians is still unconclusive. Thus, a deeper understanding is required to rank various fuels not only from a policy perspective but from a viewpoint of households as well. If we see the condition in Pakistan, Pakistan is a developing economy with a large portion of her population still relying on primitive energy sources, and a major portion of population is still residing in rural areas. In Pakistan, main fuels for cooking and lighting purposes are firewood, dung cakes, agriculture residuals, natural gas, LPG, and electricity. People mainly used firewood for cooking purposes, whereas electricity is used for lighting and heating fuel as a lighting and heating fuel. There are two types of fuels in Pakistan: non-marketed fuels and marketed fuels. Non-marketed fuels are such fuels which highly depend on behavioral factors. They do not depend on market forces. These fuels are firewood, dung cakes, agriculture wastages, whereas marketed fuels are kerosene oil, LPG, natural gas, and electricity. If you see this graph shows that over the period of time, uh, the primitive fuels, the share of primitive fuels is increasing in Pakistan, whereas this red line shows that household income is also increasing, which is very alarming for Pakistan. Pakistan is not climbing the energy ladder. Pakistan is the share of primitive fuels in Pakistan is increasing as the income is increasing, which contradicts the energy ladder hypothesis for the case of Pakistan. The similar trend can be seen for the urban households, where primitive share of primitive fuels is also increasing over the period of time. In rural areas, the situation is far worse than urban areas. In rural areas, this the increase of primitive fuel is way more than in urban areas. Therefore, our study contributes to the literature by developing a comprehensive energy transition index, which can be used to gauge energy transition not only for the case of Pakistan but other countries as well. And this it is important to note that existing empirical literature has highlighted the importance of energy transition, but the studies in this context bring more questions than answers. For instance, Encolo 2019 developed a stacking up ladder measure to address existing limitations in the energy ladder and stacking indices. However, this measure is also subject to a certain biases that favor energy stacking and ignore the transition of fuels. Similarly, many studies propagate the need for a comprehensive conceptual understanding of energy transition. Considering these ambiguities in the energy ladder and energy stacking models, this study makes multiple contributions to the existing literature. First of all, we add to the conceptual and theoretical understanding of energy transition by devising a criteria to rank fuels and develop a comprehensive household energy transition index. Secondly, this study provides important policy implications for the case of Pakistan in order to move from primitive fuels to modern fuels, which is known as energy transition and which is very important for developing and emerging economies. Therefore, this study has following objectives to develop energy household energy transition index. Secondly, to investigate the drivers of energy transition index, and lastly, what is the current status of energy transition for the case of Pakistan at aggregate level and at provincial level. In order to pursue our first objective, we have chosen a 6 E's framework, which is a novel framework. On the basis of this 6E framework, we have assigned convenience points to different fuels, and then final calculation are used to combine the impact of energy ladder and stacking in one index known as energy transition index. Okay, what is 6E's framework? 6E's framework is used for used to rank the fuel. The first E in this regard is ease of access. It gauges the accessibility of a fuel in rural and urban areas. Second E belongs to the collectability of a fuel. The third E belongs to the usability of a fuel in rural and urban areas, whereas the fourth E belongs to the economy of that is the affordability of a fuel. uh, Fifth E is efficiency, and it is measured in terms of calorific power. Calorific power is the energy produced from a particular fuel, whereas the last E, that is sixth E, is the environment aspect, and it is measured in terms of the level of CO2, CH4, which is methane, and CO in the process of combustion. Okay, what we have done here is we have assigned convenience point for fuels in in dimensions of ease of access, ease to collect, ease to use, and ease of economy. If we see ease of firewood in perspective of households, we can see that in rural areas, firewood is readily available as and therefore it has been assigned 3 points, or the ease level is high, whereas in urban areas firewood accessibility of firewood is lower than in rural areas, therefore it has been assigned as low. And these are supported by different studies which have been conducted on these topics. Similarly, we have done this same process for all the fuel in our studies, LPG, gas, and electricity. And what we have come up with is this ranking of the fuel, which is based on our six E's framework. And what we have done here, we have separately calculated the points which are convenience points, efficiency points, and environment points. And after adding these three dimensions, we can rank our fuels in energy ladder ranking. On the basis of this ranking, we can assign firewood at 0, kerosene at 1, LPG at 2, natural gas at 3, and electricity at 4, because electricity is efficient of all. It is very environment friendly, and it has very convenience point has very high of electricity. Therefore, we can rank electricity as the most modern fuel, natural gas, LPG, kerosene, and lastly, the firewood. Okay, if we summarize, the modern fuels are LPG, natural gas, and electricity, and they have rankings. On this ranking, we can assign weights to these fuels, and these weights are 1 for electricity, 0.75 for natural gas, 0.5 for LPG, and 0.25 for kerosene, and 0 for firewood. Okay, once these weights have been assigned, we have used this criteria to formulate our energy transition index. So what we have done here is we just multiply these weightages, fuel share weightages, with the percentage of fuel that a household is consuming. And after combining these percentages, we can finally get to our energy transition index for each household. And the product of this whole process is the energy transition index. This measures makes up for all the flaws presented in stacking up the ladder index. If a household uses only electricity, its score will be 2, which expresses that this household is 100% powered by cleaner fuels. Moreover, by using weightage share, this measure incorporates the effect of transitional fuels as well. Okay, after formulating our energy transition index, we have used multinomial logit model to estimate energy ladder model, whereas we have used OLS to estimate the energy transition index for the case of Pakistan. This research provides estimates of energy ladder model, energy transition index, and stacking up the ladder index. In this way, a rigorous comparison is done. Variables which have been used in this study are some household characteristics, which are age of the household head, gender of household head, mean age of household members, family income, male to female ratio, land owned by households, price information of different fuels, and external factors. The data of these fuels have been taken from Pakistan Bureau of Statistics, which is a governmental body. They conduct primary research and they collect household data, whereas the data of prices has been taken from Pakistan Bureau of Statistics. Okay, results and conclusion. The finding of this study highlights the important dimensions of household
Ali,
decisions.
just 1 or 2 minutes left.
Okay. I am concluding it. And preferences for fuel choices. The prices of primitive fuels have a very imperative role in order to push households towards the use of cleaner fuels. The household attributes such as household size and bargaining power of the female members play an essential role in adoption of cleaner fuels. Okay, if we talk about our index, energy transition index can be a better alternative for energy ladder and stacking models, as it can clearly and comprehensively explain the dimension of energy transition index. Our results are not only aligned with traditional energy ladder, but it also explain the role of prices well, and the role of important energy household characteristics as well. The results of this study recommends to spread awareness to masses about the efficiency and environment dimensions of fuels used at the household level, as evidence from existing literature suggests that households base their decisions on ease of access, collect, use, and economy. Therefore, governmental body can use these dimensions to motivate the households so that they can use cleaner and efficient fuels as well. For the case of Pakistan, policymakers can use price of primitive fuels in order to use effective price signals so that the energy transition can be promoted. An increase in the price of such fuels can shift the preferences of households toward cleaner fuels. Relying on estimates of energy transition, the income find that the increase in household income uh, increases the tendency to use multiple fuels. Okay, lastly, income and prices are the determinants of energy transition, but there are several other determinants which affect the choice decision at household level. Okay, there are certain external variables such as latitude and area, which also contributes in the determination of energy transition. Lastly, the results from the disaggregated provincial levels. There is a or estimates that across the provinces, the dimension of energy transition varies to a greater extent. Therefore, government should uh, devise such policies so that each province get to set its own policy. Therefore, each province can achieve energy transition by using policies at grassroots level. Thank you so much. If you have
Thank you,
any
Khalid.
question.
Walid, is there any question? Let me check our YouTube
Okay.
page because someone was online, and if they wrote any or ask any question, I will let you know from this channel as well. Now that we have 10 participants here and we have 5 participants here, there is no question in the YouTube channel. Any question for Walid presentation about household energy transition index? Any question? Okay, thanks a lot for the presentation.
Thank you so much.
Done.
I would like to thank you, the organizing committee and team for holding such a great event in these trying times. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks a lot, Khalid, for your presentation. Our next presentation, we was expecting that Shahram Fatia from Razi University, but I cannot see there any participants. Or let me see the names: Kyomars Soheli or Marzi Jafari. Any of them here? Let me check from participants from YouTube channel as well. No. Let's carry on with next session, next presenter, Mustafa Kırca Sherif Canbay from Düzce
Yes.
University. If their presentation is ready, the topic is determinants of food inflation in Turkey, Fourier Enger-Granger co-integration tests. What is this voice? Okay.
My presentation is. Can you see my presentations?
Yes, we can. Thanks
Yes,
a lot.
okay. Let's start. Again, hello everyone. Our headline is the determinants of food inflation in Turkey, Fourier and Granger co-integration test. We prepare together with Sherif Canbay from Düzce University. You know, nowadays food prices index is increasingly by day. So prices index in the world and in Turkey tend to increase constantly. The rise the food prices. So the reason for the increase in food prices are important research topic nowadays. Also, our study aims to find out the effects of consumer interest rates, real effective exchange rate index, and food production index on food prices index in Turkey. Also, you can see our food prices index in Turkey, very positive trend. Our prices index. Also, there are our inflation rate, food prices inflation rate. For the aim, we investigate some literature. There are literature, the three parts. Firstly, we can some literature, some paper about the relationship between exchange rates and food prices index. For example, Davidson essay for England, also Bayramoğlu and Yurtkur for Turkey, and Karacan for Turkey. There are common result is exchange rate effects on the food prices index, but their paper is about the just relation between exchange rate and food prices index. They are not other variables. And the second literature is for the interest rates and the food prices index. Also, they are not. We could not find any studies examining the relationship between food prices in price index or food price inflation and interest rates. But however, everyone, some papers, some researchers investigated about the interest rate and inflation rate. So there are some relationship between the interest rate and the inflation rate. So our paper is the first paper about the investigate about the relationship between food prices index and interest rates. And lastly, we investigate about the food production index and the food prices index. You can also some investigate some paper about this subject. Eren et al. For Turkey, they reduce. It shows that food prices increases the mostly driven by supply. So there is no study examining the effects of the variables. But there was our three variables used in the same study on food prices. For this case, our study is the first study in this subject. We used some variables for our aim. We data get from the Central Bank of the Republic of Turkey EVDS system. Also, our analysis period is 2008 fourth month and 2020 third month. Also, you can see the variables. LL gıda means food prices index. L5 means consumer interest rates, and RER means real effective exchange rate index, and lastly, LGUE means food production index. Also, our model El gıda is our dependent variable and others is independent variables. You can see all variables time series graphics. Also, El gıda has a positive trend, and also El has a positive trend, and also El rare is the negative trend. So El rare is negative trend means Turkish lira's decrease value, and also El is the very wavering. Our methodology. Also, I want to say, you can see in graphics, it's seen that there are some structural bricks in variables very easily. You can see. So, considering the structural bricks in the analysis is important in order to obtain more accurate results. So, moreover, it is clearly seen that the food price index is in continues to positive trends. Besides, the food production index for the same period has a fractional tendency to the increase. It is observed that there is negative trends. There's negative trend from the real exchange rate. I said that TL depreciated over the years. Also, interest rates are observed to be fractional, and it can also be that it changed due to fractional to Turkish liras. Our methodology is we use our study Ferrier ADF and ADF unit truth test. Secondly, we used Ferrier Angel Granger configuration test, and also we used configuration parameter estimates, full modified OLS, dynamic OLS, and CCR. Lastly, Fourier Granger concept based on error correction model we used. Firstly, I will first try to explain why we chose models based on Ferrier in this study. Because the shortcoming of structural brick testers is additional of structural bricks to the models as a dummy variable. However, some economic data generally don't occur instantaneously. That is, it happens gradually and gently or smoothly. For this reason, methods based on the Ferrier have been developed. Firstly, I want to explain Ferrier ADF test. Ferrier ADF test developed by Anders and Lee. This test also has to the significance of trigonometric terms in the variables. This test is a test developed by expanding the standard ADF test equation in the trigonometry. You can see they are the sinus coefficients. There are also cos trigonometric terms. There are C3 and C4 are the trigonometric terms. And we applied our variables for the Ferrier ADF test. Firstly, we have to look our F statistics. If F statistics smaller than our critical value from the NDRs, we solve that our variables doesn't have significant Fourier trigonometric effect. So we can use the ADF test. If the trigonometric terms are not significant to this test, it is stated that it is appropriate to perform the ADF unit truth test. So for this reason, the significance of trigonometric terms is first tested. You see, and also you can see our ADF test results. According to ADF test result, all variables is both of constant and constant of trends models integrated first difference. So there are some co-integration relation between our variables. We use the Ferrier Angel Granger co-integration test. Although trigonometric terms are not significant in the variables, it is possible for these trigonometric terms to be significant in relationship between variables. Taking this into considering Lange has developed a Fourier Angel co-integration test, whereby adding, some trigonometric terms in the Angel Granger test equation, annual test has been developed. The test null hypothesis of the test, there is no co-integration relation between the variables. You see our Fourier Angel Granger results for the constant terms models. R1 is the calculated test statistics. R2 is the optimal frequency value. RH is the residual sum squares. The calculate the statistics smaller than the critical value bigger than the critical value. So there are some context relationship between our variables. I mean, all of the three variables, our independent three variables affects on the food prices index on the long term or long run. Okay, after determining the existence of contegration, we want to calculate the long term parameter coefficients. So we use the Formulation, DLS, and CCR, which are very frequently used in the time series to determine how variables affect our dependent variables in the long run. If the coefficients obtained from these three estimators are close to each other, so we can say that consistent results are obtained. You see our Formulation, DOS, and CCR results. About the Formulation results, if the food price production index increases by 1%, the food prices, you see, food prices decreases by 0.38. When the Turkish lira, so real exchange rate increased the 1%, the food prices decreases, you can see 0.25. But unfortunately, the interest rate is not significant. Also, those
2 minutes.
Okay, thanks. Okay. Also, those results is show that the nearly coefficient. Also, CCR, like the others, Formulation and the DOS. It is very closely others coefficient estimators results. And we can say the result is very common, very close each other. Using so the fact that long-term I see coefficients obtained from these three estimators are close to each other shows that obtained coefficients at the model used consistent. Using the residual terms obtained from Formulation model estimations, it was determined that error correction mechanism did not work properly. You can see our error correction terms, and it is also between the 0 and the -1. So and it is significant. So in the short run, the real exchange rate is the significant. Also, like the long run, our food production index is the significant. And also we use Granger causality. We some volt test these coefficients, and you can see in the short run and from there is a causality from Elver to Elgida, and that is a causality from Elgue to Elgida, and also in the long run there is causality from our independent variables to dependent variables. Conclusion: the findings show that food production and exchange rates have a significant effect on prices. For this reason, the importance given to food production should increase. In this context, the relationship between the food sector and the sectors it is linkage should be through analysis like agriculture. Also, the depreciation of the Turkish lira increases the food prices, depends on foreign sources, especially in the most food products, will increase these stations. In addition to the food production, conducting effective monetary policies can also be an important tool combating food inflation. Thank you very much. Our study also continues. We look forward to your contributions. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thanks a lot, Mustafa Kırca, for your presentation, for implementing newly developed econometrics techniques. Also, any question? Let me check from our YouTube page. Watcher here. Any question? Just I have maybe you can accept as a suggestion for ADF test.
Yes.
ADF unit root test. It is performed with including only constant, but most of the models you have trends.
Yes.
Maybe
Yes.
this one.
Yes.
Yes,
Constant
maybe.
and constant.
Right hand side. Okay. By mistake,
Constant
I
and
just focus on
constant.
left hand side. Okay, right hand side you have trend as well.
Also,
Okay.
our Fourier engine grandeur, we attempt to
Include constant and trend. Okay. No,
yes.
I have seen all of them, but for ADF, I just focus on left hand side. That's why I didn't see.
Okay. There are any problem?
Well, no. Well done. It's good piece of work. Even I have the Fourier KPSS code.
Yes,
Maybe I
I
will
know.
text for you to get a Fourier ADF. I don't have ADF one. Is it codes for EVs or
Yes,
Gauss
no,
software?
for EUs. We apply
Okay.
the EUs, the code.
Okay, I will send you email. I hope you will share with me.
Yes, I will share you.
Okay. If you have KPSS one Fourier, I can send it to you as well. I have KPSS.
I have for the KPSS code. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Any question? Any question? No. Thanks a lot, Mustafa Jam, for your presentation, for good piece of work. I hope you will publish in well-known journal.
Welcome.
And
Our
well done.
plan is to also continue. We are very hard worked about these issues. So this issues is very important nowadays. We think with Sherif Canbay, maybe we published our paper in some journal. Thank you very much, everyone.
Good luck in the process.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks a lot. Let me check our next participants. The names. Second one, I think, is not here, from Raza University. Said Farhan Ali Shah. I think I have seen Said. Said, could you share your slide, Said Farhan Ali Shah? And the presentation is exploring the impact of remittances on environmental degradation in Asian countries. Hi, Said. Hi, how are you?
Hi, everyone.
Could you click share screen and share your slides or PDF file that, or your, any document that you're going to present?
Is it visible to you all?
Yes, we can see. If you click to maximize screen, even we will have higher resolution.
So is it okay now?
Fantastic. That's great. Feel free to start.
Okay, my name is Syed Farhan Ali Shah, and currently I'm a student. So I'm still working over this paper. Dr. Muhammad Azam Khan and Dr. Muhammad Tariq these are my supervisors. I'm a student of MS Economics from Abdul Khan University, Mardan. And the topic is exploring the impact of remittances on environmental degradation in Asian countries. So, moving towards introduction, foreign remittances inflow plays an active role in promoting social welfare of a country, while achieving sustainable development is also imperative. So, well, if we talk about remittances, these are like playing a great role in the socio-economic development of a country. The study, which is the objective of the study, is to highlight the role of environmental, the role of carbon dioxide emission and remittances relationship, like how remittances are playing the role in environmental degradation. Either they are affecting the environment in a good way or in a bad way. So many researchers have shed light over this, but this is my little work. So the countries on which I'm going to highlight this problem, these include Bangladesh, China, India, Pakistan, and Philippines. So basically, what are the remittances? Remittances are both international and internal money sent to the families by the migrants living in their native land. Remittances can also be defined as both non-monetary and monetary transfers to communities living in homeland by the immigrants. By Communitas to 2014, household can use remittances for numerous purposes such as saving, consumption, and uh, investment. Like you can see here, these are some of the uses of remittances uh, that are differentiated in consumption, savings, investment, and investment for developmental purposes. If we look at to the consumption, these are day-to-day consumptions like food, clothes, and furniture. Similarly, on our healthcare, medicines, and social economies and gifts as well. On the other hand, if we look at the saving investment, these are used as personal savings and fixed deposits, investment in education, investment in business, investment in reproductive assets as well. On the third side, investment for development, so building schools, bridges, and roads, creation of social capital. Uh, I can say that for infrastructural activities, we can use remittances. So directly and indirectly, it is related to poverty reduction and economic development. So it's playing a great role in uh, poverty reduction, I will say. So here is the conceptual framework for CO2 and remittances relationship. The relationship may be direct or indirect, so we can define this from the given diagram, which is this is differentiated in three like remittances: increase income, increase which leads to increase in consumption, and also we also increase our savings from the remittances. But as we all know that uh, increase in income and consumption is directly related. Whenever our consumption is increased, so we uh, increase our aggregate demand, which further leads to increase in production, and with production, uh, that leads to increase in industrialization. So, for that purpose, energy is also consumed. If energy is consumed, that leads to environmental degradation. Uh, so it may increase or decrease the environmental degradation which we are measuring by CO2 carbon dioxide emission in these countries. So the transitory income hypothesis show that money received from remittances is saved and used to smooth the consumption cycle over the life. On the other hand, international remittances can also be used to increase GDP per capita, which in turn increase the demand for high energy consumption and thus cause environmental degradation. As I have already said that remittances increase aggregate demand, which leads to higher energy use in order to meet that demand by uh, industrialization. So here are the top world remittance recipient countries, where India stands first. This is the 2018 data, and data is in billion US dollars. So India, China is on the top with 78 US billion dollars and 67. Similarly, Philippines and Pakistan. I can say that these are in the top 10 countries based on the data of 2018. So coming towards the data and methodology, uh, I have used the annual data for the period of 1982 to 2014 for these countries. As the data was only available for 2014, recently I checked that they have updated it to 2016. But as you all know that we use balanced data for panel regression, so the data was missing for energy consumption. So I didn't include the later 2 years, 2015 and 2016. I only used till 2014. Uh, these countries are selected on the basis of receiving high amount of international remittances and emitting high level of carbon to the environment. Data is obtained from the official database of World Development Indicators, that is World Bank. The technique used for this purpose is the PMG estimator, which is proposed by Pesaran and Shin 1999 and Pesaran et al. 1999 to check the robustness of estimate. Pesaran et al. 2013 stated that ARDL approach advanced by Pesaran and Shin is admissible, regardless of whether the variables are integrated at order 1 or 0. We can say that we can use this technique if the data is integrated at level or integrated at first difference. If it either it is mixed, so in both cases we can use the PMG or ARDL estimator. The ARDL model, specifically the PMG estimator, provides trustable coefficient despite the presence of possible endogeneity because it consists of lags and explanatory variables. So this is the generalized form of the ARDL model, uh, which was already available, and I just put it over here. So where yit is the where yit is the dependent variable, and xit is the k cross 1 vector that is specifically integrated of order 1 or 0. Similarly, sigma ij is the coefficient of lag variables called scalars. Beta ij are k plus 1 coefficients vector, and theta is the unit specific effects. So coming towards the ECT, the error correction term. ECT is basically the shock adjustment, like after deviation, how much time it takes to come to the normal position. I use this simple regression model where CO2 is the carbon emission, and I have measured it in metric tons per capita, and it is showing the environmental quality. Remittances stands for REM stands for international remittances, which are a percentage to the GDP. ENU stands for energy use, which is of kg kg per capita, and OPN represent openness index measured by trade as percentage of gross domestic product. And on the other hand, FDI stands for foreign direct investment taken as a percentage of GDP. Coming towards the empirical results, we the stationarity, for stationarity, to check stationarity, the panel unit Q test is widely used all over the world, and I have also applied this test um, by 11 et al. LLC and 9 et al. Similarly, the augmented degree flow test, which we call ADF, Fisher chi-square 1999, was also used in this regard to strengthen robustness. So these are the given panel unit 2 tests at level. If we look at the variables, majority of variables are non-stationary at level, but one variable is stationary at level, that is PCY. Now coming towards the first difference, panel unit 2 test at first difference, all of the variables are stationary. We can say that some of the variables are stationary at level and some are at first difference. So this is the correlation matrix table where we can see that remittances and CO2 are directly related, having a moderate relationship. Similarly, energy use and CO2 that are having a strong relationship. Uh, from here, we can also conclude that energy use and carbon emission having a strong bond or strong association with each other. On the other hand, foreign direct investment and CO2 are also having a moderate and good relationship that is also a positive relationship. And trade openness is showing the positive correlation, but it is not that strong one. It's a weaker correlation. So from the given diagram, it is visible that international remittances are positive correlated with CO2 emissions, yet the relation is not right, but still it is significant and positive. Similarly, the correlation between energy consumption and carbon emission is very strong and significant. This shows that energy use is having a great role in environmental degradation. If we look at FDI, it is also having the positive, significant, and strong correlation with carbon emission. After all, trade openness has a weak but positive correlation, which is insignificant. So these are the real results for the long run, which are showing significant results from the key values having significance level, and also the key statistics also showing significance. If we look at to remittances, if there is a 1% change in remittances, this will bring 0.01% increase in the carbon emission. This is the impact of remittances on carbon emission. On the other hand, energy use is also showing positive relationship and significant relationship. Whereas FDI is also showing the same significant and positive relationship, but if we look at to openness to trade, that is a negative relationship and also significant. Uh, the reason is also discussed in the next slide why the openness to trade is showing this negative relationship. So these are the results on the short run where none of the variable is showing positive relationship. So from here we can conclude that in long run the impact of remittances is positive under environmental degradation. So notably the ECM error correction term value is confirmed negative for all nations. The negative coefficient is significant. It means that the deviation from the long run equilibrium will adjust it by 59% each year. Here you can see that in the constant value. So these are the simple results and the discussion is here. In the long run, we observe that remittances, energy use and FDI are harmful for the environment and thus contribute to environmental degradation. If we look into literature, major studies have found similar results such as Brown et al. 2020 found international remittances responsible for environmental degradation. But on the other hand, furthermore, Ahmad and Khan 2020 explored the harmful consequences of foreign remittances on environmental quality, but these results vary from country to country. It is not necessary to have same output for every country. Like in some countries, these relationships are positive, and in some countries it is negative. For example, Sharma Battery and Ahmad 2019 found unlike results include empirical that foreign remittances reduce CO2 in Nepal. So in countries like Pakistan and China and Philippines, the impact of remittances on environmental degradation or carbon dioxide emission is positive, but in some countries they are using remittances in such way that they have better quality of environment and less pollution. All they are using in maybe in agriculture or other purposes in organic terms. So FDI is negatively significant in case of Bangladesh, which is because the huge portion of FDI is invested in agriculture sector. Similarly, FDI can also have a negative impact, like remittances in case of Nepal. So, so it's different from country to country, and trade openness is also considered very less in the context of remittances and environmental degradation. It is obvious that trade openness is playing a vital role in reducing environmental pollution by eliminating dirty, intensive machinery and replacing it with eco-friendly technology. This is the cause why trade openness is showing negative relationship with uh, carbon emission in these countries. Moving towards the conclusion, through panel regression using a real PNG model, it is attempted to verify the association between foreign remittances and environmental degradation in Asian developing countries. The real model used is effective irrespective of integration, either 1 or 0 or mixed. So we can use a real model in such conditions. Similarly, panel unit 2 tests were applied to check stability of variables with constant and trend. The results found positive and significant association between international remittances and carbon emission rate in Asian emerging economies. On the other hand, workers' remittances and energy use in these developing countries have positive and significant linkage, which determines that countries with high remittances rate have high level of energy consumption. So here are some policy recommendations on behalf of this research. So government should use remittances as a policy tool to enhance its role in environmental degradation. It should be also invested in renewable energy, which is a substitute for energy sources like fossil fuels, which cause huge damage to the ecosystem. The study finally concluded that developing nations should seek attention to environmental degradation while achieving other goals like financial development through FDI and workers' remittances. Concluding that it's good to have a better socio-economic status, but we also should focus on environmental quality, how to channel the remittances and its uses in a better way to reduce the energy use and the fossil fuels. Like majority of people who are living abroad, I can see here their families are using many cars and other things. So I would like that these remittances should be used in a proper way and formal way. The government should also use it as a substitute for energy sources like fossil fuels, and prevent to prevent damage and prevent damage and other negative impacts on the ecosystem. Thank you very much. This was my little bit effort as I'm doing job and also studying. So it was not that much good, but that was my try to do good because I am doing job, and at second time and also on weekends I used to study. Thanks.
Thanks a lot, Said Farhat Ali, for your presentation. Is there any question from Khalid, from Mustafa, or let me check online ones as well, because we have YouTube channel and we have more than 10 participants online. No, at the moment there's no question. Any question for Said Farhan Ali's presentation or speech or suggestion?
Sir, you can give me suggestion because I know my work is a little weak. Your suggestions would be appreciated. Same for Khalid Walid भाई आप मुझे suggestions दे
Say,
सकते हैं.
Okay, Said, for your study, maybe, from my point of view, this is panel work, am I right?
Exactly, sir. This is panel work.
Yeah, maybe you can implement second generation panel approaches. Um, like you can check cross-sectional dependency and slope heterogeneity. Then you can implement some approaches which might be strong against cross-sectional dependency, like cross-sectional ARDL or AMG. You can implement rather than plug mean group. Like this might be helpful for you. Maybe this is good piece of work. You have good policy suggestions and outcomes. This might be my suggestion for you. And at the end, maybe you can implement one causality test. Like Bootstrap, you can implement, or Dimitrescu Hurlan. This is up to you.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thanks a lot for presentations. I think that is all for this session because another participant is not here today. I check and wait, but they are not around. So thanks a lot for speeches from Khalid, from Mustafa, from Said, Fahad. It's good presentations. I listen and well done for all of you. And thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
Thank you
let
so
me
much for
stop
organizing.
recording.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Okay, then I stop recording. Thanks a lot and see you.